How's it going? This is JumpsuitJohn, and let's jump into it. Today I'm going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons, or rather, more specifically, tabletop role-playing games, right? So we're going to get into this and talk about it. I used to love playing tabletop role-playing games. I used to love it. Used being the most important word in that sentence. Nowadays, I can't stand it. I just can't. And it's not just playing it. I mean, when we come from a real point of view, I don't have the time. I don't. I'm older. I'm working. I got responsibilities. I just don't have time to set aside an entire day to roll dice and play pretend. I got too much going on in my life right now. But when I was playing it, man, I was playing it. And I just can't anymore. And it's not just because of time. It's also because I can't stand anybody that plays tabletop anymore. I can't. All right, let's go back first. Let's qualify some of these things before we get moving. All right? We got a younger JumpsuitJohn, right? He's playing in a church band. Let's take you back to the past. Playing in a church band, and the bassist comes up to me and he says, "Hey, John, you want to play some Star Wars?" And the reason for this is because a couple weeks earlier, I had voiced some interest in playing Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, I heard, in this game, you kill dragons, you can shoot magic, you got swords. I was a young kid, I liked fantasy. Let's give it a shot. I heard it's a big game. But it was a church thing. It was church band. So, the bassist, we'll call him Joe. He approaches me and he says, "Hey, Dungeons and Dragons, well, it's a little witchy. A little too witchy. So let's play Star Wars." Which is funny, considering that Star Wars essentially has space wizards that pray to some deistic force, and they can move shit with their minds. You get what I'm saying? It was the lesser of two evils. So, okay, let's play Star Wars. Had to do some convincing on my parents' part. Because my parents grew up in the 80s. Earlier than that. They were born earlier than that, but they grew up in the 80s. And they knew the kind of weirdos that played D&D and dice rolling games and shit like that, so can't really blame them. But I went and I played, Rolled up what was it? A Keldor bounty hunter. Because, why not? Bounty hunter. It's cool. You know who's cool? Boba Fett's cool. Boba Fett was cool. Jetpack, cool armor. The gun. Didn't take shit from anybody. Looked Darth Vader in the face and was like, "Fuck whatever you got going on. I need to get paid. That's what I need. I need money." Keldor, Plo Koon, cool guy. I always had kind of a niche for playing some of the ugly characters. And that's not an indictment on people that play humans, right? Like, I will stand by the fact that the greatest class and race in all of Dungeons and Dragons is human fighter. Period. Done. No argument. I'll get into that in a later video. But Keldor bounty hunter, right? Let's go. Let's roll it up. And so we start playing, and now, mind you, understand, I had no reference for any of this. When I played video games younger, I didn't have any kind of system that was worth a shit. Not one. I think in like 2000, I was still rocking a Windows 98. Hell, I think we were still rocking that Windows 98 all the way up to like 2010. Anyways, I had no reference. I never played Fallout. I never played any of the old ttrpgs. My experience with video games was Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. That's where I was at. In the living room television. Had the one TV in the whole damn house. Old big screen CRTV. Anyways. So we start playing. We start rolling. Oh, and you gotta roll for damage? You gotta roll to even see if you hit? That's crazy. Roll to persuade? How to persuade? I was getting into it. It was pretty fun. You know? Had a group of buddies. But like I said, I had no reference. But I had a buddy in the party that I think had a leg up on me. So, see, while I was over here playing the bounty hunter Keldor Jobber, which I mean, looking now into the future, that's pretty much what I became. Not the bounty hunter part, but definitely the jobber. I mean, I get my hands dirty. That's how I make my money. In any case, he had a leg up on me as far as understanding the world he was living in and what he wanted to do. See, he played as a Sith. He played as a Sith that was fronting as a Jedi. Now, in the game, none of our characters knew this, right? Which is always a hard thing to do. How do you keep secrets in a game where you're playing as a person, playing as another person? Meta knowledge, that whole... You get what I'm saying. It's hard. But he did it pretty well. And he did it. He wasn't working for the Empire, I don't think. And I think at this time, what time period we were playing in? I think that the second Death Star had blown up. So it was just like right after. Anyways. He's a Sith fronting as a Jedi. Probably got his own agenda. But he does it so that way he gets in all the secret areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the rebel base. Oh, I'm a Jedi. Have sympathy for me, please. Let me in. I can help. And then he gets all the secrets and he busts out there and he just... You know what I'm saying. Anyways, we're playing. We're going along. Come to a slog point. Things are kind of slowing down in the story we're making. And so the DM, this Joe guy, he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. Everybody's got a job. So we're going to roll up for a period of time. We're going to roll up taking jobs. Right? I'm bounty hunter. And at this point, you have to understand, I don't think that I can die. I'm gaming it. I'm Spyro the Dragon. I'm not going to die. Well, whatever. If I die, I restart. Whatever. Back from the last checkpoint. Good to go. No, that's not how this was supposed to work. But that's what my thinking was. I was the last word in bounty hunting. I was the Force's gift to bounty hunting in this universe. You needed it done, I was the guy. I'm like level 2. But whatever. I'm pretty big for my britches, in my mind. So the DM hands me 2 sticky notes. And these 2 sticky notes have got 2 jobs for a bounty hunter. That's my profession. Some of the other guys are out doing other things, I guess like crafting or doing just labor. But I was bounty hunting. That was my job. So it gives me 2 sticky notes. One of the sticky notes says, hey, here's a bounty, X amount of credits. Pretty hard, but within your capabilities. Right? First bounty. The second bounty. Take a look at the holodisc. Holy shit. It's the Jedi guy. It's the Sith guy. Huge money. Big money. And I'm thinking, I can probably do this. Catch him unawares. He thinks we're friendly. I can grab him. The bounty says dead, so I just gotta surprise the guy. He's out on a job right now. Wouldn't think twice about his good buddy Keldor bounty hunter walking up, saying hi, and then shoving a blaster in his mouth. I got this. Big money. Could use it. No big deal. And taking on a big bounty like that, good for reputation. Good for future business. You know what I'm saying? So I picked that one. And in this situation, it's not like we act this shit out. We roll it out. That's how we deal with it. We roll it out. So Joe rolls, scribbles on a sticky note, hands it back to me. And the sticky note says, you approach your target, you see a red flash, and your head is removed from your body. Pick your targets better next time. I was set back. Mouth agape. How could this happen? I'm dead? You're dead. I'm dead. Dead. Well, but why? I'm supposed to be the hero. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. And it set the precedent for every way that I would interact with tabletop role-playing going forward. And it's this key fact, right? That I believe that a lot of modern people and players have completely forgotten. And you can call me a grognard, you can call me an old dude, but here's the basics of it. You are not important. You're not. Oh, what? You think Mr. Keldor Bounty Hunter was the only bounty hunter in the galaxy? What, you woke up one day and decided you're going to be a bounty hunter and that you're the best of the best of the best just by virtue of putting on the title? That's not how this works. There are a billion upon a billion other mooks in the galaxy that put on that title, that are tougher, that are stronger, that are more violent, and more crafty than you will ever be. And you thought you were the last word on bounty hunting. Get out of here. You're not important. And I love that. You're a nobody. Hell, even after whatever quest you're going on, considering the size of the galaxy, guess what you're going to be at the end of it? A nobody. Let's even take this to other things like fantasy. Say you're the knight and you go and rescue the princess from the dragon. Bare bones, but bear with me. So you rescue the princess. You are a hero in this one little hamlet. Nobody else knows who the fuck you are. Will your fame spread? Yeah, maybe. But the reality is people will either believe it's a lie, that you're making it up, or if you never interact with them, they'll just think it was some funny myth. You're not important. You're not. And I love it. Because it's a great analog for life. I've said it before. I said it in this video. I'm a jobber. I work with my hands. My name is JumpsuitJohn. I wear a jumpsuit to work. It gets dirty. I'm never going to be a millionaire. I'm never going to be super influential. No one aside from my immediate vicinity is going to look to me for anything more than what I can provide. It's just me, baby. And that's the way that it is. And I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. I don't even know if I would want to be famous. Quite honestly. But that's the way that you're supposed to play. Or that's the way I believe you're supposed to play it in a tabletop game. You're not important. Nothing you do is really going to matter in the long run, except to the very few small group of individuals that you are immediately involved with. To them, you might as well be Achilles. But to the rest of the world, here's a great way to say it. I'm going to get religious here for a second. Jesus Christ, right? Miracles, raising people from the dead. Do you know what happened when he went back to his hometown? Nobody believed him. This guy, he's a carpenter, raising people from the dead. Get out of here. I got a bench made by you. Talking about healing the sick. Get out of here. It happened to Jesus. Why are you any different? Anyways, after this, I decided to start dipping my toes into other systems as I got older. I got a little bit more freedom, more autonomy. When I really got into it, I think, and this is kind of a problem, right? Because I talked about like how I had kind of the game mentality whenever I first went into the whole thing. Well, you know, when I started getting into the D&D pretty heavy, the edition that was out was 4th. You want to talk about a video game on paper? Might as well be that. Anyways, I play a little bit, I get good, and then I become the dreaded forever DM. I'm the dungeon master forever, and oh my god, I went the wrong direction. What do I mean by that? Large stories. Fluff for days. World-ending scenarios. Dynamic character interactions. Tales that are larger than life. And oh my god, was it exhausting. It was exhausting. Having to keep notebook after notebook. Playing characters, doing accents. People being fucking putzes on the damn game. Oh my god, I can't stand it. Especially whenever you have that one dude that's playing that it's just one gigantic fucking weird cringe fest to him. He's the kind of guy that sits outside a Hot Topic and says that he's still fucking relevant. You know who I'm talking about. The LOL I'm so random girl. Ugh. Gag me with a fucking spoon. I hated it. And I dropped it. I dropped the whole thing. I got exhausted. I couldn't handle it anymore, so I just stopped playing. A couple years back, I had been out of the whole tabletop thing for a good number of years. And I wanted to try to recapture a moment. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm not the kind of person that says, you know, there's going to be people out there that's going to say, well, you should never really go back to your past because you're just wasting time. And true, that to some extent that is the case. But every once and again, it's nice to put on some rose-tinted glasses. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt anybody else. As long as you don't make that your entire purpose for living, which I've seen people do, and it's horrible. Just for a moment. Let me see if I can rekindle and spark something. Get a little bit of nostalgia, a little dopamine hit, and then I'll keep going forward. I just need it for a moment. So I go on Twitch. Never really been on Twitch much before. Still not really on Twitch at all. And I start looking. And oh my god, the melodrama. Everything that I myself was guilty of as a dungeon master was happening on these stupid Twitch streams for Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my god, the stupidest thing I've seen. It was this story. Oh my god, this story. This beautiful, ab-riddled Viking lady was in love with an elven lady. And the party had to bring these two together because their two villages didn't like the Vikings didn't like the elves, and the elves didn't like the Vikings. But these two lesbians loved these. Shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. What is this? What is this Michael Bay level of writing? It was honestly insufferable. It was insufferable. I got so mad at that entire situation that I even typed in the chat, what the fuck are you doing? Who the fuck cares? Nobody cares about this stupid fucking love. It's not even two characters. Nobody that's on this screen playing in this stupid little round table Twitch stream is the Viking lady or the elf lady. You'll just, what is this? This is side quest material in a B tier game. That's what this is. Not even a B tier. like a shit tier AAA game. You know what I'm talking about. So forced, so overly dramatic. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting William fucking Shakespeare from these people. I don't expect William fucking Shakespeare from anybody, to be real. Not even myself. But none of it was compelling. And the worst part about it was, and this is honestly the part that gets me the most, is they were so serious about it. They were like, this was the end all be all to love stories. This is high art. Viking and elf lesbian relationships. The pinnacle of Dungeons and... Oh, get the fuck out of here. Couldn't write a compelling story to save your ass. Me neither. I'm not just shitting on these people to shit on them. I'm the same way. It left me disgusted. I missed those times in Star Wars. I remember back how you're not important. That's what was fun about it. And you know what? We did something about it. Me and my buddy, one of my buddies here recently, and I'm talking about it maybe a year ago. Recently for me is a strange and aloof time period. You'll understand what I'm saying later on, but recently is maybe 3 years back. Recently, we decided we wanted to sit down and play. Now, my buddy, we'll call him Matt. We were both forever DMs. Trapped in the endless cycle of sitting behind that stupid dungeon screen and having to create a compelling story. And we were both exhausted. We hated it. Didn't want to get back into it. The players were fucking weirdos. They always wanted some stupid, weird self-insert. Somehow it always turned into sexual bullshit. Pissed me off. I didn't want any part of it. And he didn't want any part of it either. He had gone through a couple of games where it was exhausting. He couldn't stand it anymore. But we both wanted that feeling that we had when we played D&D for the first time. And so you know what he did? He pulled me aside and he says, we're going to play a game. I'm hanging out at his house. And I'm like, okay, let's play a game. And we rolled up into this system called Osric. Now, it's supposedly a derivation of 2nd edition with some rule tweaks and enhancements, which is good because 2nd edition is a pretty good system. Call us back to the old sword and sorcery, Conan the Barbarian. You know what I'm talking about? So, Osric. And he says, look at here, come here. This is important. Take a look at this. And he flips to the back of the book. In the back of the book, it says, random dungeon charts, random encounter charts, random treasure charts. I says, Matt, what is this? He said, this is the way we play. He said, we're going to play a game. No DM. The dice is the DM. We randomly roll everything. The dungeon tiles, the monsters in that dungeon, the treasure in that dungeon, everything. The magic, the whole thing. Traps, you name it. One rule. We don't fudge. Period. You do not fudge. That's the rules. What we get is what we get, and we don't throw a fit. Let's do it. So we roll up some characters. I play a human fighter. Now, mind you, there's only 2 of us. It's me and him. 2-man dungeon. Tag teaming. Like Undertaker and Kane. Human fighter. Some of you may call me a basic bitch for that. Fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. I'll explain in a different video. But for all I'm saying, as it stands right now, human fighter, greatest race, greatest class in the entirety of all tabletop games. Period. I digress. Human fighter. And because of the random nature of it, we create the shortest backstories we possibly can. Because remember, you're not fucking important. Nothing you do fucking matters. Not in the long run. It matters to you. It matters to your immediate people in your vicinity. And that's it. That's what got me into this. That's what sparked my curiosity in this thing to begin with. So how are we going to do this? Let's roll it basic. I'm a farmer. When I was younger, I worked for a local lord as a sellsword, doing guard work and a few occasional bandit raids here and there. Made some pretty good money. Found a girl, got her pregnant, had a couple kids. Got another one on the way. Not enough land in order to provide for that last one. Got to get some more. Need the money for it. Got to get a little extra. Main character, my fighter, goes to the local lord that he used to work for whenever he was a sellsword. Hey, you got any positions open? Give me 6 months of work. I'll buy some acreage off of you. I can provide for my family. Local lord says, hey, listen, man. I really do appreciate what you did. I like you. You're too old. You're not young. You're not young like you used to be. You look strong, I understand, but you're a farmer now. You're not a fighter. And there's nobility in that. You're a farmer, not a fighter. That, and we really don't have a lot going on. Bandits aren't really attacking. Nobody's trying to push in on my territory. I got enough guys. But there's this weird dwarf, short guy, walking around town. He's looking for a guy to go help him out with a job. Might be able to help you out. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And he's a lord. What are you going to do? Nods his head, gives him the proper respects, leaves. Goes and finds the dwarf. Dwarf is sitting in his sitting in a tavern. Oh, how original. Fuck you. Sitting in a tavern, goes up to the dwarf. Dwarf is like, you here for the job? Yeah, I'm here for the job. Now, mind you, my character's name at this time was Elu. E-L-U. Elu. My name's Elu. I'm looking for a job. Dwarf, my buddy Matt. Name is Gibbs. You look old. Yeah, but I used to fight. Well, nobody else wants to take the job, so fuck it, why not? My name's Gibbs. My name's Elu. What do? Oh, I'm a property manager. I purchase up properties, renovate, fix them back up, and then sell them off again. Mostly to get off of squatters. Every once in a while, I'll do some commission work for some people whenever they need people to be removed from properties. And that's what I'm doing right now. Local guy that I know bought this property. It's got an old as fuck castle on it. Don't know when it was built. But we got to go check out the property, survey it, see what needs to be taken down, see what can be renovated. Give the guy a good price as far as maybe us doing this whenever I hire some contractors to go out there. It's just bare bones things. And I need some muscle. Oh, why do you need muscle? I'm not the fighting type, says Gibbs. He's a thief. Which is funny that a property manager is classing a thief. But you get the point. He's not a fighter. So we go to the property, check it out, and we find a little cave at the back of the property. And we go in. And this is the dungeon part of it, right? The rule. Here's the rules. A, no fudging the rolls. What you get's what you get. Remember that. And 2, level 10's the end game. The goal is to get to the 10th level of this dungeon, clear it out, and we're done. We even were making jokes. Watch this. First room we're going to go into, it's going to be absolutely untenable. We're not going to be able to do anything. Sure enough, that's what happened. First room, triangle room. 20 evil gnomes. 20. And there's 2 of us. Baby, the bodies were stacking high. I was cutting down gnomes left and right. Having to hold my great shield in the door while the dwarf literally starts stabbing gnomes between my legs. That's how bad it was. We had to retreat. Went back outside, found a space to hide while the gnomes went back and recouped themselves. Went in the next day, and wouldn't you know it, no fudging. Somehow one of these damn gnomes threw a bomb, collapsed the entire doorway. Now Elu and Gibbs are trapped. It was the greatest Dungeons & Dragons experience I had ever had in my life. Everything was random. There was no fluff. There was no world-breaking scenario. It was 2 guys trapped in a fucking hole in the ground. And they gotta get out. And we were making stories, room to room. Why are these orcs here? Why is there a baby dragon in this room? Oh my god, look at all this magic shit we found. Why is this here? And it just happened as we played the game. We didn't go into it with some preconceived notion or some on-rails storyline that we were trying to accomplish. The story created itself. They call that now like emergent gameplay, I guess. But we were doing it on the fucking tabletop. And that shit was Kino. We get all the way to the 10th level, and the 10th level actually has an access back up to the top of the like back up to the surface ground, like the level. And that was the best I have ever played. We created such a story inside of it. The emotions, the drama, two guys being stuck underground. Like, don't get weird, but like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, the struggles of trying to get out. Elu's got a family he's got to get back to. He only went looking for a job specifically so that new kid would have a little bit more for them to eat. That was it. He's not looking for glory. He's not looking to become a hero or a knight or a lord or anything. He wants to put food in his kid's mouth. Gibbs, he just wants money. He wants to live comfortably. That's what he wants. It's a job. These two individuals are not from noble bloodlines. They are not some weird chosen ones. They are two jobbers who got into an industrial accident and now they're dealing with the consequences of it. And we even wrote it at the very end of the whole thing. Both of them had PTSD. Both of them were so traumatized by the weird shit that neither one of them thought existed that they found underground. The end story goes like this. Elu, after getting so much good riches from this underground place, built up his house to make himself almost a petty lord. He's a merchant now, dealing in wheat and livestock. He set his family up well. But every once and again, in the middle of the night, he'll wake up screaming. And he'll go running through the halls, stripping off his clothes, terrified. Until he makes it out into the middle of a wheat field. And he will run to the middle of that wheat field, stark naked, and staring at the stars. He has to feel the emptiness around it. He can't be inside. He can't be claustrophobic. He's horrified. He has to look at the stars. Are they real? Are they still there? Am I still underground? Is this all a dream? And his kids don't understand. Why does Dad go screaming through the house every once and again? Why do we have to find him in the middle of a wheat field naked the next morning? And the mother looks at him and says, you need to go down to this tavern, down by the local lords, by his fortress. You're going to go down to the local tavern, you're going to find a dwarf there named Gibbs, you're going to talk to him about it. He can explain it. And so the kids do, they go down to the tavern, by the local lord. Everyone's giving them nods and courtesies like they're supposed to. And they go in the tavern, and there's a dwarf. And they start asking questions. And the dwarf named Gibbs tells them, I can't go underground anymore. I can't see my family back in my dwarven hold. I can't do it. So I bought this bar. I got married. Have some kids now. Your father was the one that convinced me to settle down. They bring me peace. Let me tell you why your father has problems. You know that nice house you guys live in? Let me tell you how he got it. And that's the story. That's the story. Way more compelling. And we didn't have to lift a finger. It happened as we played it. And I can't stand people nowadays. The large overarching stories, the world-ending scenarios. I can't do it. And also, everybody's being so fucking self-consumed with the bullshit of their own character. Let's be realistic. Backstories don't fucking matter. And neither do progressive stories. When a person makes a character nowadays, they make that character full. Whole cloth. No development. No character changes. That is them. Their backstory, their 10-page fucking essay they wrote on the back, fuck it. That doesn't matter. And if we're being for real honest with ourselves, they can't play another person. They're not that good at acting. I'm not either. But the noble paladin character that they play, give it a few sessions. They'll start making some accommodations for Satan worshippers in their game. They will. Nobody plays their character straight. And that's not even because that character has changed opinions. No, like, it's because they can't play their character straight. They can't commit. And they can't commit because they've made such a humongous fucking slab of meat of their character, they can't finish it all. And then there are those people that create characters that think that are so creative, but they're so fucking basic. I'm a tiefling bard. Look, this is the race and the class for creativity. Oh, is it? You mean the creativity that fucking Wizards of the Coast wrote for you? Yeah, that's right. That's what happened. You are not creative. You picked up on somebody else's creativity and you think it's yours. Or because you got red skin and a horn and you're a bard and you think that you can just constantly make sex jokes, that you're all of a sudden creative. Calm the fuck down. That's why human fighter's the best. I'll go into that more later. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about making an entire series, breaking down certain things in Dungeons and Dragons that I got my peeves with and I got my praises for. But yeah, I can't do tabletops anymore. I just can't. It's lost its luster. And you can feel bad about that, or feel bad about that for me. Don't waste your time. I'm happy. I'm good. Hey, listen. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't learn something, I hope that you got something out of it. Maybe I brought you back to a good place. Maybe I started the wheels turning in your head to think about certain things. Or maybe you just hate me. Either way, I got some kind of reaction. If you like this, like it, subscribe, share it around, hit the little bell icon for the ring-a-ding for the next video. Aside from that, this has been JumpsuitJohn. Thanks for taking a break with me. We got to get back to work. I'll see you after the shift. Have a good one.